Real quick, before we get into the show, I wanted to share a new service called Getita that Ken and I have been using that has made us over $10,000 in Amazon reimbursements. The service requires no monthly subscription, and Getita collects a small percentage of the money they recover for you. It takes less than 5 minutes to set up and works on all Amazon marketplaces. Go to Getita.com, Getida, and enter promo code FTM400. That's FTM for Firing the Man 400 to get your first $400 in reimbursements commission free. How much money does Amazon owe you?
Welcome everyone to the Firing the Man podcast, a show for anyone who wants to be their own boss. If you sit in a cubicle every day and know you are capable of more, then join us. This show will help you build a business and grow your passive income streams in just a few short hours per day. And now your hosts, serial entrepreneurs David Schomer and Ken Wilson.
Welcome, everyone, to the Firing the Man podcast. On today's episode, we have the pleasure of speaking with Anatoly Labinsky. Anatoly is an entrepreneur, an e-commerce expert, and a holder of 4-time 2 Comma Club awards. If you're on YouTube, look at his background. You see those 2 Comma Club awards hanging up in the background. He's the founder of GSM Growth, an agency that helps e-commerce entrepreneurs achieve a new level of growth in their businesses. Anatoly is also a co-founder of ecomscout.io, an AI-powered service that tracks all loss events and advertising campaigns, providing real-time data and insights for informed decision-making and optimized ad spend. In addition to his entrepreneurial pursuits, Anatoly hosts the acclaimed Ecom Business Stream podcast. The podcast showcases real-life stories from successful entrepreneurs, executives, investors, and thought leaders, offering a glimpse into their journeys to success in the business world. Welcome to the show, Anatoly.
Thanks, Ken. I appreciate for such a warm welcome. And seriously, my goal today, just share the valuable, my own experience, valuable lessons which I learned. And hopefully there's somewhere at least one person will listen and implement. Because usually people are listening, saying it's awesome, it's cool, but at the end, nobody taking action. And once in a while, someone is just taking action and just texting in 1 year or 6 months after, hey, fuck, that thing just changed my life. That thing just helped me to deal with XYZ problem. So this is my goal. At least one person out there will reach out to me later on and say, thank you, man.
Absolutely. And I agree. Implementing what you hear is absolutely crucial or it won't work. And so, Anatoly, can you share with the audience a little bit about your background and the current projects that you're working on?
Yeah, sure. I will try to be short about the background, because if I will go there too deep, there is a separate podcast for that up to 2 hours. Because why it's usually that long, I'm trying to deliver in super details what was happening to me when I was starting, and showing to everyone that stop crying and just take the action, because if I could do that in that conditions of life, you can do even better. So it's usually for motivational part. But since today we are not for that, I will try to be a short. And basically back in 2013, because of money problems and helping to my mom paying mortgage and so on, I went to UAE, to Dubai, to work as whatever it is. And I was got opportunities to work as a food runner. So I was cleaning dirty plates from the table and going to washing area and so on. And I didn't speak English, and I was learning everything there on the go. It was an amazing life experience for me. For the person with the mastermind in finances, I just went cleaning tables in UAE, from Ukraine. But it was a goal just to see the world, to be more independent, to help my mom financially and so on. Basically, in 1 year, I picked up my girlfriend, who became my fiance later. She became my wife, and we got screwed when she came. I wasn't able to pay the bills to stay together. And she was working, I wasn't working, but we were barely enough to survive, because I was sending money back home to pay the mortgage and all that stuff. University bills for me, university bills. And basically what was happening, that we were wished to have a baby, but I was saying, no, because we were not able to pay for the bills. We were renting the small master bedroom, not even studio. We were sharing 2-bedroom apartments with the Filipino couple. And in one day, it was 24th of February 2017, my wife just came in the room, looking at me and said, babe, I'm pregnant. And she started crying. and crying not because of happiness, crying of realizing the fucked up which is waiting for us. We won't be able to stay in the room with the baby. We won't be able to deliver baby without insurance because she will lose the job. It's to buy it. You'll get cut as up if you're pregnant, and a lot of other things. At that moment, I was already like improved English and all the stuff. I was working already in the construction company, but was making much less than hospitality. And I was understanding if she lose the job, we won't be able to pay for the bills. Basically, I sent her back to Ukraine. I moved to 2-bedroom apartments with 7 other guys, just renting them 1-bed space, and start figuring out what can I do, what kind of things I can do to make more. And my brain was always working about physical work, like construction, waiter, like sales guy, nothing about like how I can build the business. And thanks God, I started reading a lot of business books since 2016. And for almost 2 years, that moment, I was already reading a lot of successful stories and case studies. And I realized one thing: the wealthy people have something which is between the line, not written, but mention it. None of them never quit and never listening to others who doesn't know what they're saying, why they have to stop. They were just moving forward. And I find out for myself e-commerce. It was like, for me, just blowout moment. In 25th of August 2017, I was find out some lead magnet on like Facebook. I didn't know what it means. I just press on it, and it was like how to start e-commerce business from $100. BS about $100. I knew that, but at least I was like, what is e-com? What does it mean? And there was explanation, Facebook advertising, Shopify, all that stuff. I like, no freaking way. Is it real? I started Googling, I started searching in YouTube, and I was like just mind blowing. No freaking way. It's really possible. This is how people are making money. And like I said to myself, I don't give a shit. I will figure it out how it works. And basically it didn't. It didn't work. I lost all the savings. So what I started saying when she left, I wasn't able to go to my baby's delivery. I borrowed the money to go to Ukraine. My wife was telling me she would divorce me if I would stop it because I just lost everything into the ads. I was testing, and then I was doing all the newbie mistakes and wasn't following the simple structures because I didn't know them. February 29 January 2018, I'm joining one mentorship program. He explaining just simple stuff. The mentor explaining simple stuff to the group about the KPIs and metrics. I'm like, what? KPIs? What does it mean? And like, oh shit, like it's simple. And he said to me, this and that, do it because you have potential product on your store. So I done it in the first 15 days. I made $8,000 and I'm like, no way. That's real. That's real. Now I for sure won't quit because I know it's proven. And like basically after that I lost all those money again. And like, but I knew my brain was completely switched. Now I know that it's proven. Now I just need to figure it out. And it was just ups and downs here and there, like making a couple of thousand there, a couple of thousand here, and like losing more thousands and so on. And like by summer I was already doing some kind of income and decided to move from UAE to my wife and my baby to Ukraine. She was insisting me like, you have to. And I'm like, okay, now I got already a lead gen for the gym in Dubai because since I started already understanding Facebook and watching several tutorials and so on. So lead gen for gym, lead gen for beauty salon in Dubai, small coffee shop, like restaurant. And like basically I decided, okay, this will be just enough to move to Ukraine plus this dropshipping stuff. I'll figure it out. And basically I moved by the end of summer 2018 and by October, I partnered up with one of my friends from the masterminds and we made first $50,000 in revenue in October. And it was mind-blowing revenue with no profit. So, but it was the number. It was the number. That's the important. And then 150,000 profitable in November, December almost 200. Next month, so next year, 2019, March, 250K. And we move on step by step. Like it was a lot of issues, a lot of problems on the way, but it was already a different game. I start mentoring people because people were asking me, I was active online about fails. And then I start winning and people start reaching out to me because they know my background, that I was failing. And now I'm winning. And they're seeing me everywhere. I'm posting some strategies. I'm posting like, didn't ask anything, just was sharing, giving away. And people start reaching out, asking for mentorship. I was doing that till 2020, plus running my own stores with my partner. And one moment people start asking, can you manage that for me? And like my mentor said to me, bro, like you have to stop mentoring and you have to start managing and like creating the agency. And I had already one media buyer at that moment just to support me in some cases. And I opened in March 2020. So 4 years back, I opened GSM Growth Agency. And from that moment, we grow quite a bit, generated multiple 8 figures for our customers. Now team is 34 team members and like basically working on the agency part for TikTok, Facebook, Google, SMS, email marketing, and advertising for Shopify brand owners, Shopify dropshipping stores, and so on.
That's a pretty incredible story, Anatoly. And I really like that, you shared all of the aspects. Sometimes you hear of just people saying, oh, I was successful here and I just did this, but you never hear the stories about failing and trying and losing and trying. But I'm really excited that you shared that with the audience because it kind of teaches someone that's not started yet that, hey, when you do try this, you're going to fail. But the important thing is to learn from that and then regroup, save up a little bit more money, try it again. You're going to fail again. And so you're going to slowly fail forward. And then at some point in time, it sounds like you had that breakthrough. You tried one thing and then you made $8,000 and you're like, oh, that's real. And then even though you weren't successful at it, you knew like something switched in your brain and when you're like, I'm going out all in on this. And then you went and figured it out. And so really cool. Now the title of this podcast is called Firing the Man. And so, and it follows the story of myself and David. He used to be a CPA. I was an engineer and we started up e-commerce companies. And when they got to be a sustainable company, we quit our careers in corporate America and we went full time into e-commerce. And so when you were at that point, I know you had mentioned, you worked in the hospitality, construction. At what point did you quit working for other people and then work for yourself? Did you have a fear in your mind? And did you have any regrets or anything like that? Can you speak to that to the audience of how that looks like for you?
Listen, Ken, I really appreciate for this question because I have been in several podcasts. I was sharing, as I'm saying, I sharing my story for like 2 hours. I mean, in such deep details. I was having breakfast for like half year with 1 dirham cookies, which is full of sugar, just to save the money, just to cookies which were filling my stomach till 2 p.m. I'm not hungry. Like I was sharing so much internal stuff, which is super deep down in terms of like how I was surviving because I wasn't having enough cash. I was just putting everything into the ads. I was sacrificing a lot. I was fighting with my wife. I was quitting on any kind of friendships and like my parents will not exist for me. I was like addicted because I had huge why. It's my son. My son is coming in. I have to fucking do it. I have no other choice. That's one thing. I wasn't starting because of money. If you don't have strong why except financial, you will quit. So I didn't have possibilities to quit because I have nothing instead, And why I'm giving you this short story, because I had so many storytelling about my past, but nobody never asked how ended up the career for me when like I started and if it was scared or no. And it's a funny moment. I love to share that. And the main thing when I was like starting I opened my Shopify store 29th of September. So 25th of August, I find out what is e-commerce. 29th of September, you see, I know even dates. I remember because it was in my head that moment that I will fucking write the book later on when I will beat that shit. And I still planning because like so much stuff happening in life that we are managing that it's really wonderful to share with the audience that they have to understand that everything is possible. Like I'm simple Ukrainian guy with the poor background, with the poor parents, with the like really nothing could happen to me great until I decided that I will make it happen. I will be the first person in my family who made it. And that's the difference. And the thing is, I had a strong why. And basically 29th of September, I start my store and I start investing into the ads. The thing, my salary was quite small. And what I start doing, I was working on 5 different jobs. For 1 year in UAE, I didn't have day offs. I believe I had only 1 or something. I didn't have day offs. I was working from 7:30. I'm moving in the morning to the office, ending up at 5:30 p.m. And by 6:30, I already somewhere in the restaurant as a waiter, in the private villa as a waiter, as a supervisor, or on Friday, Saturday when it's a weekend, I'm a movie star on Bollywood movies, on UAE commercials because I'm like European looking man in UAE. It looks quite great, and like they want you to be on camera. So photo, video shootings, and it's paying quite well. I was collecting cash from anywhere, and I was working in nightclubs as a waiter. After the villas, I was going to nightclub by 10 p.m. and I was working till 4 a.m. in the morning. And after 4 a.m., I was coming by 5 almost and working for 1 hour on next to laptop until I get to sleep on the freaking keyboard, and I'm waking up and 7 a.m. Not 7:30. I have to be in the office. 7 I'm moving. I was waking up at 6:30 a.m. because half an hour I had to read. It was my rule. I have to read to consume positive information, useful information to my brain. Otherwise, I will be down. And that was helping me. So sometimes 2 nights at least, I was sleeping for 40 minutes for a night.
Wow.
I 3 to 5 times I almost crashed on my car during I'm driving back home at night. I was just sleeping, and all the way through I was just catching the wheels just because it was going all the way somewhere on the wall. I was really sacrificing a lot, and I wasn't care. I was addicted to success because I had strong why. I don't have enough financials. I was finding the way to get financials, and the income which I had that moment, I never had in my life. My goal was to make it with e-commerce at least $3,000. I remember I was writing that in my goals list. I'm writing the goals all the time by hand. And that moment, 3,000, it looks unachievable. And to here, I start making $3,000 on the part-times, but I wasn't counting on them because I was just putting everything, and losing. And basically, it was so painful. And the thing is that I was just denying the quit. And basically, I was making more than ever, promising to my wife that I will save, but I was spending everything until the last cent. Didn't leave for myself for food, for anything. If needed, I will go to ask from my friends, hey, can you give it to me like sausages? It was so embarrassing, but this is what I was decided to do, to put full in. And by all that being said, I was working on several works, so didn't sleep, didn't have off, and I'm proud of that. I'm happy to look back and remember those.
If you're a podcast host or someone wanting to be interviewed on podcasts as a guest, visit podmatch.com. Podmatch automatically connects ideal podcast guests and hosts together for interviews. We always say it works just like a dating app, but instead of connecting you for dates, it connects you for podcast interviews. Podmatch has connected over 85,000 guests and hosts together for interviews that listeners love, all while saving you countless hours of administrative work through built-in automations. If you're ready to level up your podcast interviews on either side of the mic, start today by visiting podmatch.com.
Hard times. I have photos of my office in the kitchen when other guys cooking, and I'm just working with the laptop. It's my office, or my bed itself. In the bed I'm working. When I'm not on the part-time, I'm just before I will do something on the laptop, I'm not going to sleep. What's the thing? I start already producing something. My wife insists me to move on to Ukraine. I moved, and the thing is, I already start making okay for Ukraine just to survive for first time, and plus start to focus on e-commerce more. My wife was scared. Who was scared? It was my wife, not me. Because she is from the background, we have to be protected, we have to be secure. Which means we have to be not responsible, we have to be relying on someone else who will pay us at the end of the month. So I have to work for someone. She needs to feel secured. She needs to make sure that I will bring the cash to pay the bills. Not she was looking on my entrepreneurship, some kind of okay, it's fine. He will quit soon because it's all bullshit. But I was making more than ever in my life, and she was not believing. She said, it's now, tomorrow you won't. It's now, next month you won't. It's now, it's not permanent. It's not normal. That's some spam, scamming and so on. I was so annoyed because she was saying that I'm in some kind of sector. She didn't understand e-commerce. She still doesn't understand till end what e-commerce means. First 3 years of my agency, she was not able to answer on the questions what your husband is doing. So she's so far from it, to understand what it's all about. But now she has no trust problems. I'm just saying that moment she didn't understand, and she was insist me when I went to Ukraine, you have to find a job. I seriously, come on, I'm making here, there, plus you have to find a job. And she my wife she able to push me. I'm okay, fine, I will find a job, no worries. And I started reaching out to some of my friends in the networking, affiliate marketing. I was affiliate marketing, it's not the same, but similar, as well related to e-com and different directions. connections. It would be great to know more. So when I went to affiliate marketing company and like learned it quite a bit in the 5 months there, I was really learning a lot, but in the first 2 months. And after that, I start focusing on mentorship because people were asking me to mentor them more and more. I start focusing on the other things, and I just like decided to quit on what I'm doing and just was doing full time my stuff in their office. So I was going and receiving salary and all that stuff, and my friend hired me. So like I was really just cool guy that everyone loves me because I'm cool. I'm just good friends, and like just a good man. And because of that, everyone were closing eyes, and plus I was able like to put 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there to do some work which just looks visible, okay. And that's why nobody asked questions. And this is like how I was going to work to bring my wife that bill to show that it's fine. But we never spent those money. We were living on my own income, and she were not still believing. And then some of my friends all offered to me the job in the health hazard devices for breathing problems in the mining. It's completely out of my subject, but there was a salary quite higher than on that affiliate marketing. And I said to my wife, listen, like it's interesting. I will be traveling to India and so on, but I was fully focused on e-commerce. I never shared that to anyone, but I was already full in e-commerce, but I want to make my wife feel secured and satisfied. And I said, listen, here is an interesting opportunity. Would you like I will change? Because I also feel bored there. Like I was always in my laptop doing my stuff. And like she said, yeah, it would be great. So I passed easily interview there. They were looking people with UAE experience. And in Ukraine, you can find them. And here you are. I'm in the UAE. I was like, I know the market and so on. And basically what happened that I got the job. And usually I was like good guy who knows here and there, who can put 20 minutes and it was working. But in this job, it's like, it's a hazard briefing devices. Like it's really related to the health and like life of the miners. So it's really important to know the technical part. And instead of learning that stuff, I was still friendly. I was still good. Everyone loves me, but I was full time in my stuff. I was staying in the office, getting higher salary, putting a bit here, a bit there, some work, but I was already mentoring people during the work. I was like going in the office, out of the office in the corridor, and like, okay, you have to do this and that, copy that campaign here. And guys were making results because of me, like my students. And I was so like, it was funny moment that like kind of superhero. I'm here, I'm there, and I'm like making money. My stores are delivering multiple 6 figures. I wasn't just understanding what I'm fucking doing here. I mean, in that office, like I was just like enjoying that part that I'm like able to manage. But it was actually quite stupid, seriously. But the thing is, I wasn't able to take that step to go out of the label work. Because my wife was scared and she still were not believing. I start buying some stuff for her. I start like changing our life, and she still were not believing and secured in what's going to be tomorrow if I will quit in the job. And here you go, the probation period passed 3 months in that company. I already opened visa to India. I was supposed to fly to India, but before that there is exam. And I learned it a bit, but just a bit, just good enough to explain. And basically I failed on that exam because that exam was really tough. You have to know a lot because you're flying out like thousands and thousands of miles to introduce the company. And I don't know shit about it. I mean, like properly to like, to explain. And obviously here you go, they said like, man, like you're fired. And like when I heard it, I start smiling. Like I smiled. I'm like, no, these days happened. I don't need to quit. I never been fired in my life. I was always top producer. I was always giving my all, 120%. I was always overproducing, stay overtime, whatever needed, because this is who I am. But when I start working my stuff, I was giving 120% on my stuff, even more. But others, I just trying to be not too bad and giving minimum what needed. And basically when they fired me, I was so happy oh my God, this is so great. And my wife, she was in the parent city. It's like quite away from Kyiv. And I calling her, I was alone that time. She was with parents. And I said, listen, I got fired. And I'm smiling. She like, what? My heart, how we will survive? How we will be living? Like, oh my God, what you done? You need to search for the job. Like, listen, like I'm living 1 year in Ukraine, and any salaries which I got from those companies, I never touched. They're still on the account. I never ever used that. And I'm telling you that month by month that we don't use them because we don't need them. And I said, can you finally trust on me and let me do what I want? And she like, no, it will be today, but not tomorrow. Anyway, basically, I just trust my God. I said, listen, okay, I will search for another job, but obviously I didn't. And I start, it's first time when I decided, at this moment it was 2019, I create my Instagram account in March. In May, I got fired on the 5th of May, 8th of May, I got fired in 2019. And I went to the park and started recording my first ever stories about e-commerce because I was active in Facebook a lot and I got a lot of attraction there for the students. And when I quit, I understood that I will be fully involved in the mentorship, even more involved in my brands and even more involved in something else. And like, this is great. I have more time. And basically what I done, my mentor said to me, start recording stories, go to Instagram. And that moment I became active in Instagram. I record my first story for 1.5 hours, 20-second story, 1 hour, 30 minutes recording. I was shooting like 100 times to get this 20%. I was so sweat. It was so scared to do that on camera. But basically that's like where I quit the job by getting fired. And it was the best thing in my life, which I ever done.
That's a really cool story. And I haven't heard one as unique as that one. It's, a lot of times when entrepreneurs, they'll, their significant other, their spouse, their partners, whatever, it's really tough because entrepreneur is a specific mindset. And usually the partner, your spouse, is not that. Like my girlfriend right now, she doesn't know anything about entrepreneurship. She doesn't understand. Just like your wife didn't understand. And so that's a tough dynamic. But finally, it sounds like your wife, you kind of like save the money and you kind of double dipped. You had a job for a long time and then you saved all the money. Then when it was time, you said, hey, I didn't touch any of that money. It was still there. And so maybe that made her feel a little bit safer. But no, that's a unique story.
Before you go, we wanted to share a new service that Ken and I have been using called Getita that has made us over $10,000 in Amazon reimbursements. The service requires no monthly subscription, and Getita collects a small percentage of the money they recover for you. It takes less than 5 minutes to set up and works on all Amazon marketplaces. Go to Getita.com, Getida.com, and enter promo code FTM400. That's FTM for Firing the Man 400 to get your first $400 in reimbursements commission free. How much money does Amazon owe you?